Happy Monday. It's just a special month. We have so many guests on the podcast, lots of skincare talk, and we're so excited. Tyler's here, of course. He's not sick, thank God. And then we have a special guest today. Would you introduce yourself to our besties?
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Eduardo Perez, and I am the Chief Scientific Officer of Signum Biosciences. Most of your folks will know us not through Signum Biosciences, but we're the creators of Epicutus, the skincare brand, like the clean, non-toxic, luxury medical grade skincare line. That's that I know this podcast is a fan of. Thank you very much for the support. So I've been with Signum since straight out. I was a fresh pup out of grad school in 2006. So I've been there almost 20 years now. So way before Epicutus was even a dream or anything for Max and myself and their team. So just doing
most people that have been with a company for 20 years, you can tell they're tired and run down. But when you work 20 years with a skincare company, I guess you just look like this. You look amazing.
Thank you very much.
The skin looks phenomenal.
Well, I appreciate it. It's thanks to a lot to the Epicutus. And as you know, though, just knowing the skin, being careful, applying the SPF, right, sun protection, and I came from a bacterial background. That's what I worked on in grad school. But then starting at Signum, I just started learning the skin, the basic 3 layers and how it all works. And, 20 years later, here we are now. So, but thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I love that. So before we get into all of the fun stuff, because we have a surprise for you guys, like this episode is going to be the first time anyone's hearing about, I think, what we're going to talk about today, right?
It depends on when we release it.
I think we're going to release it first. We want to be first, obviously. But I wanted to ask you, what is your favorite product that you have helped create?
That's a tough one.
Only one.
Can I cheat and say 2? I have to only pick one.
I'll give you one, but then I'll give you a runner-up.
All right. My favorite is the Lipid Serum, which is probably the most popular answer.
Yeah.
But the one I think I use most is the oil cleanser.
Really? I love to hear that. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's essentially my daily face wash, right? So it's, morning after the gym or after the gym and then at nighttime before I go to bed, right? So it's 3 times a day. The Lipid Serum, I'm using it twice a day. So,
that's amazing.
But I'd say, favorite Lipid Serum.
Me
for
too.
Sure.
Lipid Serum and Lipid Mask, they're tied for me. So I guess I have to give you a pass because I'm the same way. I'm like, and Lipid Body Treatment. I cannot live without that. And then honestly, Hyvia, because it got my mom off La Mer after literally giving her 57 different good professional grade moisturizers. There was nothing that could curb her La Mer appetite until Hyvia. And I was like, please just use something that actually does something for you and feel it. She's like, I just want it to feel heavy. And she loves Hyvia. So
that's awesome. That's
my claim to fame is getting my mom off La Mer. And that was like pulling teeth.
And I'm so thrilled to hear that because a lot of times, we're scientists in the lab and we were kind of working on Hyvia still before Epicutus was a thing. We were just kind of interested in the fact that, hey, there's these chia seeds. I had read a book on kind of running, Born to Run. And it talked about this group of people that lived in Mexico, the Tarahumara. They were like this tribe in Mexico that would run 20, 25 miles a day. And their main protein source was chia seeds. So I was like,
that's crazy.
These people run barefoot for 20 miles a day. There's got to be some other good that's just their way of life. In this book, they describe this tribe of people and they run 50-mile races barefoot. And I was like, you know what? Let's break down chia seeds, extract the oil and see if there's anything good if we apply it to skin. And kind of 5 years later, Hyvia in the cream, and here we are today. So
that's amazing.
It's a lot of work behind the scenes before the final product, but that's what my team and I and from Max, our CEO up top, right? We were we were a research and development company, a biotech company, way before we were a skincare company, right? So that's kind of it's our roots, right? It's kind of in our DNA.
Yeah,
part of the science fun.
We had Max on the podcast, and he basically said that this was all created more or less because he has really reactive skin.
Mm-hmm.
That's correct.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So everything is Lipid Serum is 8 ingredients?
Yep, that's right. Yeah. And one of them is water, right? So it's really 7.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And it's such a good product. Like Lipid Serum has changed my life, changed my skin. It's helped my son with his eczema. I mean, I would drink it if I could.
Yeah, no, I remember. I don't know if this podcast has come out yet, but I was like talking about my love for it. And remember, I was like, I have a back bar at home, and you were like, I don't even have a back.
I know. I was like, where do I get a back bar?
The big 8-ouncer.
I think I took the lipid body treatment back bar because that's like. I drench myself in that morning and night. And I love that because it also has the chia seed, which works in a different way. So kind of, I know this is not the topic of the podcast, but I like to pick your brain because I have you here. So what is the Hyvia, which I know this, but for them, hearing it from you is so much more impactful. The chia seed extract and the cream for the face, the Hyvia, versus what the chia seed is doing in lipid body treatment.
Yeah, so for the face, the chia seeds is helping strengthen our barrier function and help hydrate the skin, right? So we've shown that there's a really important. Oh gosh, this might get too scientific. Gosh,
no, go for it. The Esties love it. This is continued education for a lot of people.
Yeah. So there's these important water channels in our skin called aquaporins, right? So aquaporin 3 is the most prevalent one in skin. So what Hyvia does is when we apply it on our skin, it helps to up the number of these aquaporin 3. So the more aquaporin 3 you have in your skin, the more hydrated it's going to be. I don't know if that sounds
No, that's perfect. You did beautiful.
Yeah. And then for the lipid body, we also found out that it has a lipolytic activity, right? So essentially help kind of destroy fat cells, which will then help with tightening the skin as well. So,
and that product blew me away, honestly. The lipid body treatment, like when at first they were like, oh, like it can help with like stubborn fat and like loose skin. I was like, everyone says that. It is crazy the amount of text messages I get, especially, since everyone's on GLP-1s and they're losing weight really quick. A lot of people are struggling with like loose skin. It is insane how much it snatches you. And like, even for me, I didn't get to start using it till I think Cyrus is about 1 is when it came out, maybe 1.5. I'm so bad at time, but I wasn't like freshly postpartum, but it helped so much with my own stomach. Everyone's like, did you get a tummy tuck? Like literally I had a breast augmentation or a breast reduction after I had my son, and I went in for my follow-up, and my surgeon was like, did we do a tummy tuck? And I was like, no.
Shouldn't you know?
He was like, you look so good. I was like, I know. I was like, it's literally lipid body treatment, and now his office carries it, which is amazing.
Yes, thank you.
But such a good product, guys. And for cellulite, loose skin, stretch marks, I mean, everything. It's phenomenal. I've seen such good results too with some of my older clients' elbows and knees. It's really, it really is insane. There's so many broad body products. Everyone right now is coming out with a body product, but I've never seen anything tighten skin like lipid body treatment. Like, it's honestly unbelievable.
And y'all were the first for the companies we work with, at least.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's kind of like hearing these stories is what makes it kind of invigorates myself and my team in the lab. Because a lot of times we don't hear this feedback, right? We're just kind of creating these novel ingredients and these novel formulations. And then it's handed off to the sales team and the marketing team. So I don't get this. Every once in a while, they'll let me out in the wild. They'll let me go to an AM spa or an AAD. But most of the time,
they're like, you're too good to be out and about. Like, we need you in the lab.
Exactly. So they keep me in the lab. Max keeps me there with the ball and chain there, making sure we're pumping. In fact, no, I'm joking with Max. Max, like I said, he's been my boss for 20 years, and I'm still there and loving working there. So
that's a testament. If you can make it 20 years, you can make it anywhere, right? That's amazing.
So hearing your feedback, it's kind of keeps us going, because our lab and I think one of the things that kind of sets apart Epicutis from all of these other brands is that we have like an active R&D program. So we have our products, but we're still working on other novel technologies to kind of continue to change the game, right, and bring benefits to your customers and just people around the world, as our brand continues to grow and we can expand globally as well. So that's kind of like what we're really passionate about.
That. Well, yeah, it's such unique products too. I think it's very curated and it's very bespoke what you guys have created. It's not like you're throwing out, things that have already been done. Like Arctogenin is revolutionary. I've never heard of that ingredient in my entire life until you guys. So before we get into the exciting thing, can you kind of speak to that? Because I feel like that's a new one for you guys, and I talk about it all the time. But you helped create this, so who better to hear it from?
Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, so Arctogenin is again, it's kind of like this 5, 6 year journey before the product comes out. So we were so obviously for skin brightening and kind of, affecting pigmentation, you got your vitamin C, your kojic acid, your hydroquinone, right? And a few other things like niacinamide. So, but there hasn't really been a lot of innovation in the space, right? Kind of, I know we're kind of going back to this word innovation and R&D, but so what we were thinking 6 or 7 years ago was, it'd be nice to try and come out with something that's different and works, but it's not toxic, right? Hydroquinone works, but it's toxic, right? Kojic acid is irritating to the skin, right? So could we develop something that works that's non-toxic and safe to skin? That's kind of like a through line of all our products, right? Like
That's your ethos, yeah.
yeah, right. The lipid serum you could put on like fully ablative skin, right? You can use it as a glide, right? For example, it's not going to be irritating in any way. So anyway, that's where we started. And I just started looking around, just reading scientific literature and like, what are some natural extracts that have been shown to brighten skin? So kind of stumbled upon our lead formulator, Masanori Tamura, is Japanese. And burdock seeds are really, really big in Asia and specifically Japan. So I started looking into it, and kind of long story short, I read some literature that said that it was good for skin brightening. So then we just started breaking down the extract, and we saw that Arctogenin was kind of one of the main ingredients, and we tested that and saw, oh wow, it can really help to brighten skin. So kind of like spin that forward 4 years later, we developed like a novel patented extract, so nobody can copy it, right? And it's novel to us in our lab, and then we ended up launching the product, right? So, but again, it takes like 5-6 years before you see it from like kind of the bench all the way to the product shelf.
I love that you say that, because we talked with one of our dermatologist friends earlier, and a lot of people think these products are just being like pulled out, whipped out in like 5 seconds, and that's what's so amazing is like you have to know what's going to be, I guess, the trend or the buzz or whatever is going to be innovative 6 years from now, and so you kind of have to think ahead of the game, which can be hard, and especially when you're putting so much money and time into creating something, like you're like hoping to God that like no one beat you to it and no one's going to get it out before you get it out. So yeah, Arctogenin has quickly become one of our client favorites. I love it. I love it. I mean, it really is like such a good thing on its own, but I also love boosting it with other products. Like it kind of it just amplifies the results of like your retinoids as well for skin brightening and everything. So she plays well in the sandpit, and that's what I love about all of the products is they play really well with other products as well.
Yeah, and you mentioned the people being able to whip up products. You can, but I think a lot of times like, what the companies are doing, just kind of insider thinking about how these manufacturing companies work. A lot of these formulations, they already have ready to go off the shelf. So those you can whip out in 6-9 months, but it's like everybody's using them the same formulation. They're just it's like a private label, and they're just putting a different name on the packaging. But it's all basically the same ingredients, right? It's like the same thing. So there is no innovation. It's just kind of like, hey, we're ready to go. Slap a label on it, and you can go, right? Or you kind of want to do the exact opposite of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I love. Yeah, it's like new, it's curated, it's custom, and it's completely yours.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, I think we've kept them anticipating long enough. So I'm going to let you pull the cat out of the bag. So tell us why we are here today. What are we talking about?
Yeah, so we're here to talk about a new publication that we came up with. Again, these publications do take a long time to get peer reviewed in dermatology journals. So we've already kind of teased Lipid Serum, right, as kind of being our favorite product. Well, the main ingredient, and I like that you guys have done this. You actually say the full chemical name.
We got to tetramethylhexadecynyl succinylcysteine. That's what I'm naming my next kid. I'm like, if I got it, I remember. Were you at the office that day where I was like saying it in a voice note, and then I like made my rep? I was like, I need someone to say this, and they got Maxwell to say it on a voice memo for me, and I just listened to him, saying it over and over again until I was like awesome. Perfected, and it's my favorite word.
That's fantastic. Yeah. So, tetramethylhexadecynyl-cysteine, or let's call it TSC for the rest of this podcast for everybody else, right? So TSC is our hero ingredient, or the main ingredient in the lipid serum and how it functions. So, we know that it helps to reduce inflammation. It helps strengthen the barrier function. And it had a couple other activities that we don't talk about as much, but we know it protects collagen indirectly by blocking MMP. So MMPs are kind of enzymes that'll go in and chew up your collagen, right? So if you're doing a procedure to promote collagen expression and elastin expression, the last thing you want is MMPs around to go in and chew it up. Think of it like little Pac-Man or little Miss Pac-Man will go in and chew up your collagen. So we knew that TSC could protect collagen that way, could reduce inflammation, and help strengthen barrier function. So what we were thinking was it would be really cool if we could kind of pair it, or how would it work with retinol, tretinoin, and different retinoids, right? So in the study, what we did is we wanted to set a high bar. So we used tretinoin, which obviously is stronger than let's say a retinol, and we went to like a 0.2%.
Oh, wow.
Right. So really, you get some redness, you get some really flaking and dryness of the skin almost, 24 hours, 48 hours later, right? So in the study, what we did is we put TSC with the tretinoin.
Wow.
It didn't affect negatively any of the benefits of the tretinoin, but what we published is that it helped reduce the erythema or redness, which we were kind of expecting or hoping to see, because it reduces inflammation. So we saw about a 60% reduction in erythema over 5 days. And what was really cool in the before and after photos is that we also saw a reduction in the flakiness and dryness of the skin, right? And it's kind of like, I think it hits back to like, because TSC can also helps with hydration, right? Helps with barrier function repair. If the barrier is better, right, your skin's going to be drier, healthier, and that'll kind of help better with the dryness and the flakiness, as well as the inflammation. So that was a really, really fun study. We had kind of seen it before we did a clinical study. We had kind of played around with it in the lab ourselves, just putting it on our skin. Just, this is what we do, right? It's kind of like in the lab. So we're like, oh, wow, this could work. But, we can't publish this. We need to actually do a full-on clinical study to get it published. No one's going to want to see before and afters of my forearm. Or my.
We literally were just talking about that. That's so funny. With Jacqueline in our previous podcast about how a lot of companies, it's just like in their bathroom. And so it really is cool that you guys, did the work and have the clinicals to show and prove its efficacy. Yeah,
we basically just did a breakdown of the difference between different white papers and clinical studies, and is it peer reviewed? Is it published in a journal? Is it does it check all these boxes? Which it doesn't always have to, but that just gives it a little bit more
validity.
Yeah. No, 100%. And it's like, I agree. And I think it's important, especially with a brand like ours, where science is one of our pillars. Like we need that, right? That's kind of like a main driver for us, kind of like how we were built, right, as a biotech company to then develop the skincare line. So we published this, and we've published on all our hero ingredients, TSC. We've talked about Hyvia, Arctogenin, right? If anyone wants to Google them or go to the Epicutus website, we have all publications, are all peer reviewed clinical studies, for every single one, right? Because we actually, we take the time, right? We're kind of developing this before we even know what the product. Sometimes we don't even know what the product's going to be yet, right? But we're just trying to develop new actives, right?
I think that's really important to note too, because I think a lot of people, don't realize that like a lot of the products out there, like it's just run-of-the-mill ingredients all kind of in a bottle together, but you guys are really searching for a proprietary patented ingredient, something that hasn't been done before. And then once you get that, you're like, okay, how is this working? What is it doing? And then putting it into a formulation with supporting ingredients. But like, again, Lipid Serum, the star is the TSC. Like that's,
Well, it's also that like, I feel like Lipid Serum tackles so many things in one product and does it effectively, while most other lines, if not every other line, has a product for this and a product for that. But like when you're addressing inflammation at the root, you're addressing so many. And that's why it's
so hard when people are like, Lipid Serum or this. I'm like, well, Lipid Serum helps with everything. Like I always say, I like to call it, I don't know if you've heard me say this before, but I call it liquid ibuprofen for the skin.
Yep, I've heard you say that.
Yeah, because it really is. And, when you really think about inflammation, it's the root of so many skin concerns, whether that's pigment or aging or eczema, reactive skin, acne prone skin. I don't know if I said rosacea and redness, but I mean, everything. And Lipid Serum is helping lower that inflammation. And of course, to your point too, protecting the collagen, which is, I usually don't talk about that point as much, but I'm going to now. And it does something else with blue light, right?
Yes. That's TS14. That's a different compound. So Hyvia works with.
So
blue
Hyvia
light.
is the blue light. Okay.
Yeah, Hyvia is the blue light. You know what? TSC might. So here's a cool thing. Like we discovered TSC all the way back in 2008.
Wow. I was like.
So it's been around a while.
9.
Right?
I was 9.
Yeah, I'm dating. I'm kind of dating myself now, my age, right?
No, wait,
I started working in 2006.
2008. We were.
I was 9.
You were 9.
I was gonna say, were you guys born yet? No, joking.
Right? No, seriously.
But I mean, like we're still discovering new activities. So it's like this real cool, safe molecule, but it's like multifunctional, which is why we can do the lipid serum with just 8 ingredients, because we don't need to do like this kitchen sink approach and throw 30 different extracts in there.
And a lot of them is marketing. Like a lot of people, they want to throw niacinamide in something because it's a buzzword and because they, you know, but is it really enhancing the formula? Is it really moving the needle? Probably not. It's just there because it's, you know, and that's why going to an esthetician and someone that understands product formulation and somebody that values, you know, that you learn so much more, because it is so hard to just see things at the surface. And then when you're able to meet with people like you and kind of get deeper into the industry, you start to realize, you know, a lot of stuff is smoke and mirrors. And what you really focus on is, you know, proprietary ingredients and things that do more than just one thing, and really products that stand for themselves. And I think that's what's so cool about each patented ingredient that you guys have and proprietary ingredient. It really stands on its own. It doesn't need a bunch of like sidekicks.
Right. Yeah. Then that's kind of like our philosophy, right? And as we kind of go through this and we carefully select the ingredients, like you said, that support. And then, you know, we're just kind of continuing to do R&D to see what else are these molecules capable of, right? What are they doing, right? And also, like, what are they not doing, right? Because we don't want to, like you said, just put something in there and hope it works or doesn't, right? So to kind of keep the ingredient list short, small, because, you know, the more ingredients you put on in a formulation, the more chance someone can have a reaction to it or get sensitized to something. So we want to kind of just stay away from all that, right?
I love that.
That's kind of like one of our kind of our secondary goals, but it's kind of like what's kind of going into our thought process as we're trying to develop these formulations here in the lab.
I love that. That's amazing. And something I've noticed a lot. So I don't have too many people that will come in on Accutane, but I have had a few. And Lipid Serum has been their saving grace. I mean, truly it has. And so they're like, is there anything I can do? Because they're like, I want to get treated. I'm like, I can't treat you, you know, while you're on Accutane, and I don't want to treat you for 6 months. But they're like, what products can I use? And typically I'd be like, nothing, you know, like just a hydrating serum, but I'm able to get them on, you know, a couple Epicutis products and know that it's going to support their skin during that journey. And then will be something that they're on after too, once we get them on more actives in clinic and all of that. So, but I'm really excited about this study because, you know, retinoids they're really irritating and people have a lot of issues with them. So it's going to be a game changer for people to now have that published and know that they can, you know, add lipid serum and use this and the lipid mask while they're starting tretinoin or retin-A or whatever it be, and not have to deal with all of that, you know, dryness. I mean, every day I get on TikTok and I see people talking about, like, I just started, you know, tretinoin or retin-A and my face is falling off, and I now can go comment and be like, lipid serum.
Well, it's also, I think, even more amazing because something Savanna always talks about is how your skin craves consistency, and with products like a stronger tret or retin.
I'm so proud of you saying this right now. Damn, he listens to me. I feel like a proud mom.
But I mean, just like the fact that you need to use it once every 3 days or once every other day, if that, and you still probably have some of that irritation, and something that you guys are able to give people where they can have the consistency of increasing their cellular turnover with a retinoid or tret or whatever and be consistent.
I love that, Ty.
100%. I think and when we launched, a lot of the feedback we were getting was, hey, should I use lipid serum or should I use this retinol product? Let's say, for example, right? And another kind of nice thing about this is it's not an either or, right? You kind of, I think the lipid serum can stand on its own, but it does play well play nice or play well with others, right? So it's not like this either or. You can actually now we have the proof. Before I was kind of hopeful that we should show this, but it's like, hey, they actually do work well together. So use your retinol, use your tretinoin, use, whatever retinoid you're using at whatever dose. And we now can show that, the lipid serum, when you pair it, will actually bring you benefits. So you kind of get this like 1-2 punch, right? Of these products, right?
And I always like to say too, whatever we're exfoliating or breaking down, like we have to rebuild and protect. And that's literally lipid serum, using it with a retinoid. The retinoid's helping break down. It's also, we know too, it is going to help build collagen as well. But is it protecting collagen? No, that's why lipid serum comes in for that. And reduces that irritation. And I am not a fan of skin cycling. I've always said, what Tyler was saying, consistency is key, especially when it comes to pigmentation, aging, and acne. Like, you really got to be consistent with stuff. It's, I always say it's like going to the gym. Once you get your dream body, you don't just stop going to the gym. You're going to, lose your abs. You're going to lose your booty. Exactly. So, same thing with skincare. You got to stick with what has given you those results. And to get to where you want to be consistent with it. Your skin respects consistency and what it's being fed daily. So being able to use a stronger retinoid every single day and minimize irritation and dryness and flakiness is a game changer. And it's just going to yield better results and long-term benefits.
Yeah. We're really proud about the study and really proud that we can kind of bring the science and this activity to folks through these products to help them kind of have a better skin. And as you know, when you're when you have a good skin routine and your skin is feeling better, you just kind of feel better about yourself, right? And just kind of the outlook of everything changes, right? You're more likely to go to the gym more,
and be consistent with it too.
Right?
Yeah, not fall off the wagon or be like, oh yeah, I have this prescription from my derm that I use once, maybe a month because it makes me so drier. It's going to just help with compliance too, which is so important.
Probably the biggest hurdle you feel getting people just to stay on a routine or start a routine and stay on the routine, right?
Exactly. Yep. That's, I think, the biggest thing is you can lead a horse to water. You can give them the best regimen, but they have to drink it every single day for it to, do what it needs to do. It's not like, okay, I did my regimen good 2 times a week. It's really, I think everything in life is how we show up for ourselves consistently, whether, it's our daily movement or, what we read or what we're consuming. I think everything really just comes down to those small actions that we make every single day. It adds up. It's, I love those clients. They always make me laugh. They want to come in and they do a heavy laser and get the Botox and the filler and then neglect everything else. And I'm like, the ones that slow and steady will always win the race than just high impact, And I think we're learning that too with workouts and things like that. It's better to have consistent movement in your body daily than work out hard once or twice a week. It's that low impact and commitment that makes a difference. So I know you guys can't really talk about this, but I know that there are going to be some fun things coming out. I am really, really excited. We'll have to definitely get you back on the podcast whenever those launch. I am really, really excited about this. I heard it first about it, when I had dinner with Max and Lisa, how long ago? When was that? That was before you worked for me, so over a year.
Oh, wow. Okay. It's been over a year. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of them I knew about. The other, I had no clue. So I'm really, really excited for both. Do you have timeline for us? When is this happening?
So I believe you guys, I'm sworn to secrecy here, but I guess we can tease a little bit here. At AmSpa in about 10, 12 days now, we will be launching a new product.
Both or one?
One product at AmSpa in 10 days or so, right? I think AmSpa is April 10th.
Yeah,
I don't know when
I cannot believe
this release is going to be out. But
I'm sure we'll have this one probably out next week so we can have it before. Yeah.
So if you come to the Epicutis AmSpa booth, and I think we'll be doing kind of a VIP meeting with yourself and your team, Savanna, for this product. We will have it at our booth, and if you come to the event, you will also get this product. What I can say, let's see, I don't want Lisa and Max to kill me. I can say the hero ingredient in this is is called activated grapeseed extract. So it's a different extract that isn't in any of our other Epicutis products, except we did launch this in the neck and décolleté booster that we co-launched with Hydrofacial and launched that for the Hydrofacial device, right? So it's a neck and décolleté booster, but you can also use it on the face. Other than that, I can say it'll help. What we always say, right? Kind of promote healthy skin, refresh your skin. I don't want to say anything more than
You're
that.
like, I'm not trying to get in trouble, neither am I.
Yeah, neither are we.
We're like,
come to
we know
AmSpa.
nothing. We know.
But hey, come to AmSpa, come to the booth, come hang out with Savanna. I don't know, Tyler, if you're going to be there.
He'll be there. Yeah.
All right, come hang out.
Are you going to be there?
I'm not sure yet. I'll see if I can.
We're going to request you to come.
You got to request it then.
We'll
maybe
request
Max
you.
and Lisa will listen to you.
Oh yeah, I hope.
Come hang out maybe with me as well, and we'll have some of the new product that we're excited to launch.
That's
and
so exciting.
We'll have a couple more products in this calendar year that'll be coming out as well.
I'm so excited, and I just know, I think, it's good for, I know the Estes listen to this, but some might not have gotten as deep down the rabbit hole of like brand formulation and all of that, but that's how I always thought of things. I feel like before I became even just an esthetician, like before I started working closer with companies, I was like, they just whip this up in 6 months, and it's really not that way.
No.
I mean, maybe some brands that are private labeling and doing weird stuff on the back end, and there definitely are those, but the brands that I work with, everything takes years and years and years to become what it is. So it's not just like a flash in the pan or something that they just whipped up, in the lab and we're like, okay, it's good enough. Here it goes. So I get so excited about these launches, especially with Epicutis, because I know, whatever they're doing is something big. So I can't wait, and I can't wait for you guys to hear about it. And I'm so excited about this new study, guys, for your patients, for your clients, and for talking points too. I know Lipid Serum is pricey, but I've done a lot of education on it lately because I've been seeing some TikToks, and also my clients. I'm like, how are you out of this already? How are we using this? And they're using the entire full dropper. I'm like,
No. 1 or 2 drops tops is like enough.
Pea
size. He does a little bit more because he has a little more.
Well, I have the back bar at home, so I'm like, oops.
Oh, he can.
I'm like
splurge.
getting it on my.
I know.
With the Lipid Serum dropper, I don't even squeeze it out. What I'll do is I'll take it out of the bottle, and I just take it what's on the sides.
Oh, that's
smart. Enough for like my face and my neck and the back of my neck, and I have a lot of surface area.
Slay doing the back of your neck. I have started telling my clients like mid-30s to start doing that because people don't treat that, and then if you want to wear a bun or ponytail, or for poor you guys men that don't have long hair, you're exposed, baby. I mean, you can't hide that back of your neck, so it's out there.
It's exactly. So I'm applying back there. I like you. I have I have the back bar, and I have the regular size. So I kind of go between the two. But yeah, back of the neck's important.
Yeah,
you get so much sun exposure, and it helps really kind of protect. Mm-hmm. Not like an SPF, but it helps kind of help and heal. Like I was at a softball tournament this weekend for my daughter, and I was out. It was like 80 degrees, which is like 30 degrees warmer than it is this time of year, and I was just getting blasted with the sun. Not that I'm complaining, but I definitely felt that a little bit today.
That's amazing. No, guys, you really need the smallest amount. Like if you're just using like a pea size amount, you are golden. And also too, like it's a good selling point for your clients, like about how this technology works. And okay, give me your elevator pitch. Like if you were to talk to a client, I know you don't do this as often because you're making it and not selling it, but I just want to hear yours. What would you say? Okay. Lipid Serum, ready, set, go.
Lipid Serum, you got TSC to help strengthen your barrier, promote skin health, and then you got the high pharmaceutical grade hyaluronic acid that we source, that is kind of 99.8% pure. We source it specifically. We use an HA that people use in eye drops. Most people use lower quality HA, and a lot of times it's pro-inflammatory, where ours is super pure, super quality, and that's kind of one of the reasons why it's, you mentioned, a little pricey.
Yeah.
So kind of together, that 1-2 punch of TSC with all of the activities we've talked about, protecting collagen, inflammation, hydration with the super pure HA, That's why lipid serum, you call it liquid ibuprofen, or I've heard other people call it like liquid gold, right?
I love that.
On social
I always
media.
call it liquid ibuprofen and like a big drink of water for your skin.
It really
That's what
is.
it feels like every time
And I
put
think
it
I
on.
saw too is it's 10 times more hydrating, right?
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. Yep,
Wow.
exactly. So we've done a lot of work on that, and again, we'll continue to do it. Kind of,
And it goes so deep in the skin too. So like we've had clients that are like, I'm getting better results with their actives also, not just calming down, the inflammation that some actives can cause, but also getting it deeper into the skin. So it's she's
Right.
kind of like helping out the other brands. Okay. She's like,
yeah.
you
And I
guys
think
are getting here and that's fine. But like, if you just jump in with me, I'll take you down deep, baby.
Yeah,
And so we have had
exactly. And I
clients.
think
Yeah.
that'll help with like kind of the tretinoin or the retinols that people are using, right? Because if it can get it into the skin a little bit more and get it into the dermis, it'll help there kind of deliver some benefits to
Yeah.
the extracellular matrix, right? And there in the dermis level. So I'll be interested to see when now people really start using these products daily.
Yeah.
I'll check in with you guys and let me know how that's working
We
for
will.
folks. When you start talking to people that are pairing them up, hopefully they'll start seeing even better results.
I love that. That's amazing. Yeah, Lipid Serum is one of those cult favorite products. There's nothing like it. It's amazing. And we're so excited for the new products to come out. New product. And we're so excited to see how you guys are incorporating this. And what's the easiest way so maybe we have some Epicutis accounts listening to this or people that want to bring on Epicutis. How can they find this clinical study with retinoids used with lipid serum or with TSC?
Yeah. So it'll be at our website, epicutis.com. We'll have a scientific publications link there. If you don't want to go to our website, you can simply Google TSC plus tretinoin, and that will be at the top of your first Google search there. So it all, whichever one you want to go to. If you're really into the science, we encourage folks. So again, I'm a scientist by training, right? I got my PhD, 20 years ago. Now, we encourage people to send in messages, emails. We try and be pretty responsive. Kind of, Max, we're growing, but we're still a small company. So we haven't lost that vibe, right? So we try and still get back to folks that have scientific questions. If we can't get back to you in a day, but we will do our best to get back to you just because we value the customers, we value science. So we think a better, more educated consumer is someone that'll be more compliant, right? And then they'll have healthier skin. And someone does
they'll understand why their $8 hyaluronic acid serum from TJ Maxx does not work.
It's like pro-inflammatory, right? It's like kind of doing the opposite of what you want to do.
Yeah,
right?
and it's so crazy. The deeper
process.
you get into this stuff, I mean, it's just things that you would never, ever know. Like, when I was first in the industry and I was like, why is one vitamin C serum this much versus the other? Like, you don't understand like the different derivatives and like ingredient sourcing. Like in my brain, I was like, oh, like there's a hyaluronic acid supplier and like that's like the one hyaluronic acid supplier. Everyone's getting it from this place. But then, it's just the name of the molecule. There's so many different places that produce this hyaluronic acid, some in-house, some third party, So it's really interesting and it's such an eye-opening experience, and I think we've opened a lot of people's eyes on this podcast as I talk about this day in and day out. One of my favorite analogies I always will say is like, you can go eat at Taco Bell and they're going to have the beans and they're going to have the rice and the ground beef. And then you can go to the, nicest restaurant in Dallas, which probably won't even have the best Mexican food. Let's say the hole in the wall, authentic Mexican restaurant where they are growing it in their backyard. You're getting like grandma's recipe. Okay. They both have rice and beans, but their quality is completely different. The way your body is going to feel the next morning is going to be completely different. So, I think when you kind of talk about that, people are like, okay, yeah, that makes sense because, in their head, they're like, oh, someone's just trying to charge more for the same thing. And it really isn't that way. It's, really about the quality and where it's coming from. And also the delivery systems. You can have amazing ingredients, but if it's not getting in the skin, what are we doing?
No, exactly. I mean, one of the reasons Max launched Epicutis was before we launched Epicutis, we were developing these ingredients and we were licensing them to people and they were using it for the marketing, but they go ahead and use like 1/10 or 1/20th of what we showed worked because they wanted to just
like microdosing.
Yeah, cut costs, cut costs, cut costs. That's kind of the main driver, right? So we just kind of grew frustrated, right? Like people are using our ingredients, but they're not going to see the benefit because we're telling them you got to put it at 0.5%, and they're putting it at like 0.005%. Because you don't have to write the dose on the label, right? You just have to put
no one knows.
Right? That's another kind of this, the industry and kind of the tricks of the trade kind of thing, right? So that was a big factor in kind of why we got a really under the car hood look on what the skincare industry is, what we like.
Scam.
What we liked and what we didn't like. It wasn't a total scam, but
not all of them. But
we wanted to fix the stuff that we didn't like, and so we're like, hey, we should just. So Max is like, hey, let's just
bring ethics back to this industry. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like the weight loss and beauty industry. It's like people like to make a quick buck because it's a lot of it, is insecurities and not about health. A lot of people, we just talked about this earlier, is, people care more about vanity, typically than they do about the health of the skin or health of them. And I think it's now starting to change, at least, now people are starting to really focus on, health, right? Not just, this is going to make me look better, but also how is this going to help the health of my skin? And then, of course, when the health of your skin is good, you look better. But there's a lot in this industry, that has been bad. But I think, companies like y'all and all the companies I work with are really kind of rewriting the beauty industry and really just putting patients first and ethics first and top of the line science. And that's really, what it's all about. So when you get, people that are in it for the money or the marketing and that just really care about the client at the end of the day and the people that are going to be using this and how it's going to impact their lives, like magic happens. And that's how I feel about you guys. I mean, truly such a good company and your mission. And I mean, just the origin story of like, we created these amazing things and nobody was doing the right thing with them. So we're going to take back the control and put it out in a way that is going to be beneficial and people are actually going to see the benefits of this. So yeah, it's amazing. And it's really cool to see.
Well, thank you so much, and thanks for the support. And I really appreciate you guys kind of inviting me on here. I don't get to do many of these other than giving scientific talks, right, at conferences. So it's a different medium, but this has been just a ton of fun.
I know. I hope we get to see you in Vegas.
It's a cool talk. Yeah, I'll try and we're gonna have that for you. You got to put a good word in for me there.
We're gonna put it in. We're gonna call Lisa after this and be like, he has to come.
Yes. Put it in, and then we'll make it happen.
Yeah, so, amazing.
So
anything
much.
You want to close us out with?
I'll say is just this. I'd say, I'll just again thank you for the time and giving me the time here to talk a little about Epicutus, and thank you so much for being supportive of our brand and kind of delivering these products to your folks. But just to say that Epicutus is a scientific-based company. We're launching new products, not just in the next few days, but we'll continue. We're kind of just Max, our CEO, is dedicated to continuing to do research and development. So the next couple products we're launching this year, but we'll continue we have a pipeline of ingredients. So we'll continue to kind of change the game in the skincare space to bring new revolutionary and innovative products here. So it's kind of like, that's what I am. I'm a scientist. I've been here going for 20 years and I want to keep my skin looking good so I can come on here and 5 years from now, you can say, wow, Eddie, you still look like you did 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's right. I have a request though for either a lipid mask for the lips or like a lipid serum for the lips or like a lip.
Okay, a lip product. Okay. I'll jot that down here. I still use I'm old school.
It's funny. I got Emsculpt done this morning, and the lady that does it, it's not at my practice. It's at a dermatologist here in Dallas, and she was telling me, we were just talking because I do skin, she does skin, about how sometimes you just don't want to talk to clients all day, and it can get exhausting. And she was telling me. She's like, Epicutus needs to make a lip mask because she loves Epicutus. And she's like, what we've been doing is putting the lipid eye on their lips so that they don't talk the whole appointment. And I was like, I'm screaming. I'm meeting with someone today and I have to tell them that. And I was like, you're right, though. They do need to make a lip one.
That's a good. You get 2 for 1 on that one. You get to shut them up and
she's doing the eye. I was like, that's honestly so smart.
All right, I'll talk to our formulator and Lisa, who heads our kind of our marketing team, and throw it in the pipeline.
I mean, I want to be bathed in TSC from head to toe. That's my goal.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I think we'll continue to study to see what other benefits
Yeah.
it has. So, again, thanks so much for,
Thank you.
No, thank
You were amazing. Like, love.
Appreciate it.
I love the whole company, love the people. I mean, and that is such a big thing for me too. Gotta love the products, and they gotta be good people. And you guys check both of those boxes a million times. So we're excited, and we adore you guys. And we're so excited for the clinical study, the new launch, AmSpa, all the things. You guys are just doing amazing over there. So we're proud partners and wish you guys the absolute best. And hope to see you in Vegas.
Yeah, see you. Hopefully see you in a couple weeks.
Yes,
Take care.
thank you so much.
Yeah,
Take care. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. We're excited.
Super excited.
Such good things.
No, they're awesome.
They really are.
I'm telling y'all, I know Savanna, like if you want like a little inside scoop on the tea of me, Savanna, you really do only need a drop, but I'm telling y'all, I use way too much lipid serum every day. Like I'm obsessed with it. But I like bring it down to like my body.
You like the nips?
Yeah, like nips to forehead.
Okay, slay. Well, skincare starts at your forehead and ends at your titties.
I'm obsessed, and I
need to get you on Lipid Body.
I know. I'm just horrible about body products.
I know.
That's why I'm dry and crusty.
Lip products, body products, basically everything.
Wasn't that a great episode, y'all? I love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. This was...
I'm going to go play Dress to Impress.
Okay. Bye, loves.